From London, I would like to welcome Dr. Marcos Papadopoulos, the author and political researcher. Dr. Marcos, after greatness, how can you describe this incident which happened in the US?
We must always think independently and critically, especially at a time when we are told that an assassination attempt has been made against the life of Donald Trump. Donald Trump has a lot of supporters in America. However, there are also a lot of Americans who hate him. And it is not inconceivable that someone who follows woke ideology, an ideology which is hateful, intolerant, and violent, could have taken it upon himself to murder Trump. On the other hand, Trump is in very serious trouble. He has engaged Iran in a war, and as a result, he has brought America into a very deep quagmire. And because of that, there seems to be no way out for him. And his popularity as a result of this war against Iran has dramatically declined. So, at the same time, it is not inconceivable that something else has happened, something else which will enable Trump to increase his popularity. One thing which I find quite suspicious at this moment in time is this. We are told that the alleged assassin managed to go through one security check after the next, armed with a shotgun, a pistol, and other weapons. That is, as I say, very suspicious and very difficult to come to terms with. But on the other hand, the American deep state, which has no love for Trump, could, of course, have facilitated access for this assassin. So there are a lot of questions to ask. We must not be influenced by American or British mainstream media. We must think independently, we must think critically, and we must ask questions.
Dr. Marcos, this is not the first time where American President Trump is under an attack or assassination attempt, but the significance of these repeated attacks, especially this is happening in short periods.
Indeed, there have been two other attempts on Trump's life, as we are told. The most serious one was in July of 2024. But even with that alleged attempt on his life, there are very serious questions to be asked. Again, it is possible that someone could take it upon themselves to murder Trump because some of his policies are loathed by a lot of Americans. And at the same time, many of his policies are supported by many Americans. And the American deep state is capable of almost anything. After all, there are very serious questions to be asked about the murder of John F. Kennedy in November of 1963. Indeed, even prominent American commentators such as Tucker Carlson are asking serious questions, raising serious questions about the official narrative that Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated John F. Kennedy. So we must not take for granted the word of the White House or the word of American or British mainstream media, because of course American and British mainstream media is neither free nor independent. It is controlled by what I describe as the Western ruling elites, or what most people know as globalists. So again, we must continue to ask questions.
Dr. Marcos, Trump acknowledges that there was some security failure because of this incident. Do you agree with him?
On the face of it, it is a calamitous failure in security. How can one man who we are told is a tutor, how can one man penetrate one security check after the next, armed with, amongst other weapons, a shotgun and a pistol? He would have gone through metal detectors. He would have gone through other checks which would have detected if he was carrying anything which he should not have been. And we are talking about checks which constitute state-of-the-art technology. So how is it that this man was able to get so close to Trump armed with a shotgun and a pistol? Of course, it could be what is known as an inside job. That is possible. There are very powerful elements within the US federal government that would like to see the back of Trump, that would like to see him gone. But the official story is this, that a tutor from California, armed with a shotgun and a pistol, went through one security check after the next, and none of those security checks detected that he was carrying guns. I find that extremely difficult to believe, and I think anyone who thinks independently and critically and applies common sense will also find it difficult to comprehend.
Dr. Marcus, can you link between what is happening in the region with escalation and this shooting?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because the Trump administration, along with American mainstream media, has long said that there are, quote, Iranian cells in America, and that the Iranians have been planning for a number of years to assassinate Trump. No concrete evidence has ever been supplied by either the White House or American mainstream media to corroborate the claim that there are Iranian cells active in America, or that the Iranian government has attempted to, or is planning to assassinate Trump. No tangible, no concrete evidence has ever been put forward to support that. So, in the context of the Iran war, where America is in very serious trouble, this could be a way out for the Trump administration. This could be a way for the Trump administration to possibly convince the American people that America should continue the war against Iran, because Iran has attempted to murder Trump on American soil. So, that is why I say we must be very careful about the official narrative regarding this incident, because it is more than possible that this could have been orchestrated in order for America to continue the war against Iran, because most Americans are very patriotic, and if they are told that an attempt has been made on the life of their president, even if they are not entirely supportive of their president, they will rally around him. And this could be a way of Trump and, of course, the Israelis continuing the war against Iran.
Dr. Marcos, you have mentioned right now that this incident might be an exit for President Trump from the war against Iran. So how, in your opinion, this will be convinced or be sold to the American public opinion?
Well, already the White House and American mainstream media is telling the American people that an attempt has been made on the life of Trump. Well, we only have their word for that. Very soon, we will hear from the FBI. And the FBI, I have no doubt, will say that this tutor from California was very supportive of woke ideology. He was known to hate Trump and to hate his policies. And as a result, this man took it upon himself to try and end the life of Trump. But that will be the official narrative. The official narrative in America is that Russia is bad, Iran is bad, Syria under President Assad is bad. Any country in the world which pursues an independent foreign policy is bad, and so on and so on. That is the official narrative. But the official narrative doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean that the official narrative is truthful. That is why we must always think independently and critically and ask questions. Why should we believe what a journalist on the New York Times or the Washington Post says? Likewise, why should we believe what a journalist on the Daily Telegraph or on the Times in Britain says? No. Remember, Western mainstream media is neither free nor independent. They serve the interests of globalists. So we probably will never know the exact what exactly happened at this incident, but nonetheless, there are very suspicious elements already to it, and I have no doubt that more suspicion will arise from this incident as time goes by.
Dr. Marcos, you have also mentioned that this incident might be orchestrated. Who could be orchestrating this incident? What do you mean exactly?
So first of all, it could be the American deep state. The American deep state believes that Trump is a great danger to Pax Americana, is a great danger to NATO, is a great danger to the illusion that America is the leader of the free world, that America is a beacon for democracy and freedom and civilization. And therefore, it follows that the American deep state could have attempted to assassinate Trump. That is possible. But at the same time, Trump also has influence and power in, for example, the FBI and in the War Department. And therefore, someone in the FBI or in the War Department could have acted on orders from the heart of the Trump administration to orchestrate an attempt on Trump's life as a way of regaining popularity for Trump amongst the American people and or continuing the war against Iran. That is why I say this could have been orchestrated. But again, what we are told is an attempt on Trump's life could have taken place. People who follow woke are very dangerous people, and naturally they despise Trump. So someone who follows woke ideology could have attempted to murder Trump. But again, how could this person have gone through one security check after the next with a shotgun and a pistol? That is very difficult to come to terms with. That is very difficult to fathom. It is more possible that this was an inside job, a real attempt on Trump's life by the deep state, or it was orchestrated by the Trump administration using people in the FBI, the CIA, or the War Department, or all three, as a way of Trump continuing the war against Iran and or regaining popularity for Trump amongst the American people.
Dr. Marcos, let me discuss what you have mentioned, that this incident might be orchestrated because the American President Trump maybe benefit from this incident in order to increase his popularity, especially after the recent American policies against Iran. In your opinion, this incident might be successful to make President Trump raise his popularity and be capable to gain the American support to continue the war?
Indeed. Only time will tell. If the FBI says that the Iranian government was behind this attempt on Trump's life, if they say that an Iranian cell operated by the, let's say, the IRGC was responsible for this, and then Trump says, as a result, we must continue the war against Iran, then I would say in those circumstances, it is more than likely that this was orchestrated. However, if the FBI says that the person who we are told attempted to murder Trump acted on his own accord, was a follower of woke ideology, and as a result of that, Trump is able to resurrect his past popularity, in those circumstances, I would say, well, this also could be orchestrated. Why? Because at this moment in time, and I emphasize at this moment in time, we still don't know many details, but at this moment in time, we are told that the alleged assassin was armed with a shotgun, a pistol, and other weapons, and got very, very close to the American president. This was not outdoors. This was not in a park. This was indoors. How could it have happened? So in those circumstances, if we are told that a tutor who simply hated Trump tried to murder him, I would be suspicious. We must always, as I keep on saying, we must always think independently. We must always think critically. Otherwise, we should go along with the narrative that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction and was 45 minutes away from using weapons of mass destruction against countries such as Britain. That is what we were told leading up to the criminal invasion of Iraq. Well, I didn't believe that. I asked questions at that time. I thought independently and critically, and I applied common sense. Why should we believe a word from the American government or the British government or American mainstream media or British mainstream media? Why? When they have been proven to be pathological liars. So again, these are very early days regarding what has happened in relation to Trump. Let's wait to see what further details there are. But at the same time, think independently, think critically, apply common sense and ask questions. And do not be deterred from doing so because American mainstream media or British mainstream media says you must accept the official narrative. Otherwise, you are a, quote, conspiracy theorist.